Yes, and that makes you wonder, of course, is it because when people were evolving, and there was like more selective pressure in the crude Darwinian sense, selective pressures were more crude. We still have them, of course, they're just different. But when the sort of the evolutionary slope was the steepest, people didn't have that much time to sit and just be and breathe. I think there was always some danger. And so that's maybe why it's so difficult to do because we didn't evolve to do this.
I don't know. I don't know. There's you're searching for the why.
Yeah.
That search will always continue. But I think, you know,
Yeah, there is no escape from that question.
yeah, there's no escape from that question. Uh, but I think we are evolving.
Yes.
We still are evolving, and um, I don't know. I don't know that we have more consciousness than we used to have.
Oh, that is, I agree. Maybe it was certainly a different type of consciousness, but I don't think that it's necessarily more or less. I think it's just different.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. Those are my three favorite words. I mean, because it's really quite amazing all the things that we don't know, and I think it's wonderful. You never run out of things to wonder about.
Yes.
But I don't know. Some people find it scary. I don't know why they find it scary not to understand what's going on. No, we don't.
Yes.
And that's, you know, Toynbee had in one of his books an interesting way to put it. He said the ultimate human dilemma is this, and I'm not quoting directly, obviously, but something along the lines of there is something that you can call absolute reality behind the phenomena. And a single human being is a little fragment of that absolute reality.
Ah,
And in this, you have the fundamental issue that you have a small fragment of here is absolute reality using a small fragment of itself to understand itself. And you realize, of course, that's impossible. But the drive is just there, right?
it's beautiful. I think that's a beautiful expression.
It's a great way to put it.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that same idea is put in a lot of different languages in different cultures ways of trying to understand what we are and what this existence is, our relationship to it. And I guess I would take it to, well, whether that's true or not, what I'm experiencing is only here in my body.
Yes,
Your voice, your words are happening here in my body.
yes.
I know they must be happening for you too, and
They are, I promise.
they're happening over the technology.
Yes,
But all my experience of what I call the outer world is happening in my inner world. That's where it's being recreated or reassembled, let's say, reassembled
yes.
into ways that I can connect with it, images and ideas and language and such. So what I understand is if the totality of this universe is made up of these two parts, me and it.
Yes,
And everything I could ever know about me or it happens through me.
yes,
It happens right here. My understanding is going to happen from here.
yes.
So I figure, all right, that's what I'm working with. Let me just go with that.
Yes.
and pay attention to what's happening in here. The vastness, the mysteriousness of what I am. Even though there seems to be a lot of literature about what I am,
Yes.
that's it. I don't trust that literature as much as I trust my experience and beyond
Yes.
words. Yeah.
Yes. And this is where I think actually people have gotten much weaker over the last, years. Oh, here is something I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
And second, um, so here is a book that I bought. Here is a book. I bought it. It looks good on my desk. I haven't read it yet. It's called An Introduction to Logic.
Wow.
And
Beautiful.
the interesting thing about this, it's a relatively old book. It was originally written in 1916, but it's still in press, and it was reprinted recently. And it says something very interesting here. First published in 1906, it is a high watermark in the field, showing how much we have lost in the ensuing decades.
Ah.
And so that is in all honesty, I haven't read the book yet,
Uh-huh.
but I also haven't read other books on logic, so I don't have a reference point. But the fact that people say that there were things at which we were better before, I think is a very important point to keep in mind, because people have this intrinsic sort of arrogance
Yes.
to believe that we're going with the progress, therefore everything is getting better. But then sometimes progress have given the world things like lobotomy, and sometimes what people used to do, like, I mean, it's interesting to see that in 2000 people say that nobody can write a book on logic like this book that was written in 1900. That I think is very important to to register.
I
you
think
know
so
this
too.
because there is this arrogance right now. I mean, to me, it
Yes.
looks like, technology, without technology, we wouldn't be talking. So technology is valuable.
Yes.
But to try to solve everything through it, and then so you realize you think you're riding the progress wave, but the reality is you're just neglecting everything else in your life.
Great.
And so I thought it's quite interesting. And I guess I'd been looking for this book for a while without knowing that I was looking for it, but that's where I first saw it expressed as crisply as this, which I
Yes.
think is very nice.
Yeah.
So someday I'll hopefully read it.
Well, I'm very, uh, grateful for wisdom from ancient cultures,
Yes,
and I think we have a lot to learn from people that lived a long time ago. It,
absolutely.
yes. Yeah.
I mean, and I spent over the last couple of years in part out of misery, because look at the world right now. So I've developed a hobby that when I don't do work related stuff, which is relatively rare, but it does happen, um, is I sometimes like to read history books. And in particular, it fascinates me to look into old history. Like, you can look, like, we think to us 2000 years ago already feels like it's been a long time. Like the
Uh-huh.
ancient Greeks, yeah, it's not like yesterday, it's 2000 years, it's a lot. But then you can go twice that amount and
Yes.
you'll still find really sophisticated cultures. And you
Yeah.
can probably go more than that. We think the oldest are the Sumeric cultures, the Sumero-Akkadian and the Pharaonic Egyptian, and then perhaps a little later the Chinese. But who knows what was there before them? I
Yes.
mean, the Egyptians were smart with their pyramids. I mean, that is clearly a statement, right?
Yeah. That's
Like,
right.
in 4,000 years, you guys will still be talking about us.
Uh,
And look, we are.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure to have this conversation. So thanks a lot, Eliot. That's absolutely great.
Well, for me as well. Thank you. It's been a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
yes, absolutely. Thanks.